Reality Transurfing, Book 3, Forward to the Past. Chapter 3, Coordination. To achieve your goals, it is not at all necessary for you to be strong and self-confident. There is another, much more effective opinion. Coordination is an easy way of thinking and acting so that luck is always on your side. It's the same as learning how to ride a bike. The moment you learn how to do it, your life will turn into pure pleasure. I do not want, and I do not hope. I intend. The Labyrinth of Insecurity. When you are on your way to your goal through the right door, no one and nothing can stand in your way, except yourself. And to be more specific, the only thing that could stop you from achieving your goal is lack of faith and insecurity. These are things of the same order. Either makes internal intention ineffective and external intention practically impossible. Either makes internal intention ineffective and external intention practically impossible. No matter what you do when you are insecure, it will all be done poorly. The higher the stress of your desire to act well, the worse the results will be. Lack of faith in your abilities combined with overrated complexity of external problems lead to a state of constraint or stupor. The nature of stupor is constraint squeezing itself together. The external importance of the goal gives rise to a frustrating desire to achieve it. Internal importance makes you doubt your own potential. All of this together merges into insecurity. Insecurity tightens the grip of internal intention as hard as it can in an effort to achieve the goal, without even considering the activity of balancing forces. The outcome of such a grip turns out to be the direct opposite of one's intention. Energy is spent on maintaining several excess potentials at once. See how many there are: internal and external importance, frustrating desire, striving to keep oneself in the situation under control. There is simply not enough free energy to maintain all of this. Thus you feel inhibited, cramped, and act ineptly and clumsily. As a result, the grip of control tightens even more. This is how you end up being in a stupor, where you are unable to move or say anything intelligible. It could seem that your intention is gripped in a vice, but in reality, intention is absent altogether. All of the energy of intention has gone to maintain excess potentials. Insecurity, in the shape of alarm and anxiety, goes directly to feed the pendulums. Alarm is generated by the following type of prognosis. What happens if? When you are insecure, the prognosis is usually of the pessimistic kind. Energy is instantly directed at playing negative scenarios in your head and at worrying because of this. The energy of intention is also spent here, but in this case, the actual fact that the energy of intention is spent is not as terrible as what this energy is being spent on. Worry, alarm, and fear. These are powerful generators of worse fears, which, as you know, come true. Another rich source of insecurity is the feeling of guilt, which blossoms with a bouquet of inadequacy, shortcomings, and unworthiness. How can there be any confidence at this point? Feelings of guilt and everything that has to do with it lead to the narrowing of energy channels. And there is only enough energy of intention to act ineffectively, half-heartedly, and worthlessly. And there is only enough energy of intention to act ineffectively, half-heartedly, and worthlessly. Besides, if you tend to feel guilty, then there will be plenty of manipulators hovering around you, like moths around a light bulb. Sensing your weakness, they assert themselves at your expense and gladly devour your unprotected energy. They are constantly playing on your guilty feelings, while you keep explaining and justifying yourself to them, hours on end, strengthening your insecurities all the more. Insecurity creates a vicious circle. The stronger the importance and the desire, the greater the insecurity. The tighter the grip of the control on yourself in the situation, the stronger the constraint. The greater the alarm and anxiety, the sooner they'll become warranted. The feeling of guilt will actually turn one's life into a wretched existence of a loser. In his attempt to break free from this labyrinth, man is trying to obtain confidence by any means possible. One of the ways to do it is to launch an attack on the world straight away. While attacking, man attempts to demonstrate his power and hide his insecurity through the anticipatory maneuver, but by exerting influence on the world, using pressure and decisiveness, he is trying to erect a wall of his confidence. This is a very energy-demanding route, but the wall of confidence will keep crumbling down nonetheless. The energy of forceful influence goes towards creating excess potential and resisting the flow of variations. The energy of forceful influence goes towards creating excess potentials and resisting the flow of variations. In any case, a person will sooner or later suffer a defeat, and he has to once again fight and erect a wall of confidence. Another way of obtaining confidence is not to build any basis for confidence whatsoever, but to put everything at stake. Self-confidence is that very same shyness. It is just turned inside out. It is when, on an empty space, there's a semblance of something that should not be there. If one's confidence is not based on anything, then an excess potential will arise. But it is not only about the potential, but about the fact that by acting with self-confidence, you are hurting someone's interests. Imagine a man is standing in the middle of a desert shouting, "The entire world is at my feet!" Good for him. His shouting doesn't bother anyone. Thus the balancing forces couldn't care less about him. But if unfounded confidence comes into comparison with the potential of others, you get a relationship of dependence. Confidence, based on comparing oneself to others, is a pure excess potential, especially if one's confidence is based on a scornful or contemptuous attitude towards other people. A false confidence of this kind will sooner or later get punished with a flick on the nose or, pardon my French, by a kick in one's ass. There is also exalted confidence, which appears as the excited state of a timid person who suddenly felt a taste of confidence. This too is a false confidence, based on a temporary emotional high, and it lasts for a very short time. How do you obtain genuine confidence? You understand that fighting insecurity is useless. It cannot be hidden behind the screen of false courage. You won't manage to conceal it anyway, while the energy spent on creating this courage will be turned against you. Forcing yourself to be confident is also pointless. There is absolutely no sense in making yourself be courageous and determined when you do not really possess any of these qualities. Forcing yourself to keep yourself together is not possible either. As it was demonstrated above, the energy of intention is not clamped. It is simply spent on maintaining the grip of control. Thus, there is just not enough of this energy for you to act. It is also pointless trying to develop a confidence in any other way. It would seem that confidence develops through resolute actions. Actually, when a man stops fighting and starts acting, the energy of intention releases its grip and switches over from excess potentials to realizing the action. So in the end, you do get the situation where the devil is not as black as he is painted. Because once you start acting, the situation is not as intimidating as it seemed at first. Once you start acting, the situation is not as intimidating as it seemed at first. However, confidence is not developed by any action. It is the energy of intention that is being released. You cannot develop confidence. It is just like energy. Either you have it or you don't. You cannot achieve confidence through autosuggestion, much like you cannot achieve faith by the same means. You could keep repeating affirmations about being confident in yourself until you drop. It is a rather naive and pointless thing to do. It is just like fighting the symptoms of an illness without having eliminated the cause. No matter what you do with your insecurity, it won't go away. No matter how you try to achieve confidence, you won't get it. You also won't be able to maintain the corresponding transmission of your thoughts so that you would always be on the wave of confidence. You could tell yourself this morning, "This is it. I am self-confident. Nothing can shake my confidence. I am hard as a rock." Try doing this and you will see what will happen. For a time, you will actually feel confident, and that will make you even more confident and happy. But very soon, some pendulum will set up a mean provocation, and you won't notice yourself. How you will come crashing down from the wave of confidence. And there you are once again, irritated or depressed. Again, there is a problem. Something bothering you, and once again you fear or hate. You thought you saw a light at the end of the tunnel, but you have just once again reached a dead end. Then how do you get out of this intricate labyrinth? You can't. There is no exit out of this maze. The secret of this labyrinth is that its walls will come down once you've stopped looking for an exit, and once you have rejected importance. Let me repeat that. The secret of this labyrinth is that its walls will come down once you've stopped looking for an exit, and once you have rejected importance. Causes that give rise to one's insecurity could be split into two groups. The first is internal causes, and among these is the excessive preoccupation with one's personal qualities. Emotions such as being dissatisfied with yourself because you have certain flaws and lack certain virtues, feeling inferior to others, shyness, being afraid to suffer a defeat or making a fool out of yourself, and so on. Second group, external causes that have to do with inappropriate overestimating of external factors. Consequently, there is an unfounded worry concerning the inconsistency between one's internal low qualities and the high external demands. Awe before the external, feeling like a small person in a big city, and finally, plain fear before the surrounding reality. The paradox lies in the following. To obtain confidence, you need to reject it. Let me repeat that. The paradox lies in the following. To obtain confidence, you need to reject it. The walls of the labyrinth are made out of importance. You are walking around the labyrinth trying to get rid of insecurity and to get confident. Now, confidence is a make-believe. This is yet another invention of the pendulums, a false mirage, a trap for importance. Confidence is a pendulum game. Confidence is a pendulum game in which they always win. Where there is faith, there will always be room for doubt. Just as where there is confidence, there will always be room for hesitations and indecisiveness. Confidence is a kind of faith in success. Any scenario could include a negative modification. One tiny modification is quite enough to bring down the wall of confidence. The concept of confidence is based on excess potentials and relationships of dependence. Any variation on the subject of confidence goes something like this. I am fully determined. I am firm and resolute, like a cliff. I am better at everything than anybody else. No one can stop me. I overcome any obstacles. I am stronger and braver than others. And so on. Confidence is just a temporary excessive potential. That is all it is. Whatever way you wrap it up, confidence will still remain nothing but an excessive potential. Even self-control is nothing but a temporary concentration of tension. After all, confidence is insecurity of the opposite sign. Both potentials require energy, and the first potential will inevitably be destroyed by the balancing forces. Therefore, chasing confidence is just as fruitless as chasing illusory happiness that appears to be somewhere in the future. And so, we have just destroyed another false stereotype. But how does one live life without confidence? Transurfing offers another alternative instead. Coordination. What coordination is, you will find out next.